Thank you very much, Madam President. Welcome, Vice President Dombrovskis, Commissioner Gentiloni, to this committee. My questions are firstly linked to the financing of the Green Deal, because it's obvious that the financing of the Green Deal will be instrumental in its success. And my first question is, what fiscal impact do you see at the level of national member states in order to finance the Green Deal, and if you see any potential risks in order for the countries to meet their fiscal targets? Then my second question on the same topic is, when the EIB will intervene in the framework of the Just Transition mechanism, do you foresee larger financing through the EIB, more credits to countries which are in a weaker fiscal situation, so that they would not be able to mobilize many public fiscal resources themselves at national level? This was my first topic. The second topic which I would like to address, Commissioner Gentiloni, is you were talking about the review of the two-pack, six-pack in view of more simplification. I think simplification is good. And by simplification, I understand clearer, simpler rules, but obviously not weaker rules. And the question is, what is your view on the simplification of the two-pack, six-pack, particularly in order to not jeopardize fiscal consolidation while also facilitating investments in green technologies? And my last point, Madam President, towards Commissioner Dombrovskis, in addition to what I mentioned before on the Green Deal, you mentioned Romania, and you rightly said expansionary fiscal policy in times of high growth. And the question is, the previous government, there was of course a change in government. Now there's a government with a clear political will to consolidate its budgets. The question is, the previous government also committed to increasing pensions of 40% this year, which is a lot. The question is, do you see any need to postpone some of these fiscal measures? Do you see any risk for Romania meeting its fiscal targets if all of these objectives are implemented? Thank you.
Within that European Green Deal investment plan, we also have just transition mechanism exactly to support regions and people who are most affected by these transitions, like, for example, coal regions. On fiscal situation in Romania, indeed, Romania has not delivered on Council decisions within the context of significant deviation procedure and seems to exceed 3% of GDP deficit now. In terms of fiscal adjustment, of course, there has to be like a holistic overall view. We cannot now pick one or another or third element. We need to see overall picture, both in expenditure side, but I would emphasize in case of Romania also in revenue side, because in case of Romania, a tax burden measured as tax revenue compared to GDP is one of the lowest in the EU.
For sure, the financing of the Green Deal and the investment plan of the Green Deal is a challenge. We all know that even in our analysis, the 1 trillion is not exactly the amount of investment that is needed, and so it is only part of the investment needed. The composition of this effort will be a composition coming from different sources, and obviously our funds, European funds, national co-financing, national promotion banks that will be, I understand, very much committed in this kind of plan. And then the real challenge is how to promote and facilitate private and public financing and investments.